All right, the first step is always to upload that SVG. Well, I am just going to drag and drop my Christmas unicorn pop-up card with HTV horn SVG there. Add it to the canvas. And of course, first step is always to ungroup. Now, let's zoom in a little bit and look at these pieces. So there's two options for the horn, which of course is like the most important part. This one with the blue, this is made to be cut out of cardstock like normal. So right here is this cut would need to be turned into a score line and attached. And of course, let's move that. And so this piece underneath is a second piece of cardstock. And again, that would be a score line and attached to that piece. So that's one way to do it. It is a little bit more bulky, and I like to use glitter. So of course you have the glitter shed. You just glue it into place there if that's the way you choose to do it. But my new favorite way to do it is using HTV. So with the gold horn here, this is just a basic cut piece. Just leave it like it is. And then underneath we have the horn base, which is actually a solid piece. So I'm going to change that line into score again, attach it. You can see that's a solid piece. And right here, it is just one piece that can be out of HTV and put right on. And I'm gonna move them back over. If you don't have HTV, what could you do? Let's bring this one to the front. You could simply put this to the pen tool. Let's make it gold just so we can see it a little bit better. And attach it. And now you could use your gold marker to create the outline and then just fill it in by hand. If you want, that's another way to do it. However, I'm going to be using HTV. So I'm just going to leave it like that. And that is ready to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and hide those two things since I'm not going to be using them. Let's move this one over. Okay, and now we have the berries here. I'm going to ungroup these. So these groups of berries, I do like to cut them out like this. So I attach them. I cut those out of HTV also. And this group of berries, same thing. Then you kind of have an idea of how the berries are supposed to go. You don't have just a bunch of little green dots floating all around. And then we have the ears. And of course we have the hat here. And I think you can tell, here is the pom-pom for the hat. And you can do that out of glitter HTV if you want. It always looks cute. Here is the score line for the hat, for the cuff of the hat, I guess, the hat brim. Okay, so those two pieces are ready to cut out. And then for the hat base, again, we have those tabs to glue down. So we're going to change those to score and attach. Okay, so now we have our hat pieces ready to go. And if I want to make it look nicer, I'll just bring that to the front. Here we have all the hair pieces, and there's nothing you have to do with them. Same with the eyelashes. And you can cut these out of cardstock, or you can cut them out of HTV also. Then we have the card base. These red pieces are the front and the back, so you could cut it out of pattern cardstock or put an image, whatever you want on there. This is the base, which the unicorn face will be glued to. I almost always cut that out of white cardstock. So I'm going to go ahead and attach that score line. And send it to the back there. You can see both our pieces. Okay, great. And the final piece is the envelope. And this cut line, of course, we don't want to cut, we want to score. And because it's quite a deep card, that's why it has the two score lines here. We want to highlight that and attach it. And now our whole project is ready to make. All right, let's make it. And my envelope is slightly longer, so you will have to use a larger mat. However, it will fit on a 12 by 12 piece of paper, and the rest, everything else, can be on the regular mats. Here is my horn and cuff, the base piece. I always like to move the ears over there so we can get, make a little better use of our material. The inner ears, the eyelashes, the front and back of the card, the berries, which of course we're doing out of HTV, so let's mirror that. The horn is also out of HTV, so let's mirror that. It is not symmetrical. We have the different colors of the leaves and the hair. All that looks great. There's that envelope. More hair in the hat. All right, let's make it. And for this, I do recommend that you use the cardstock for intricate cut setting. You definitely, especially like the hair, you definitely want to have it pass through twice. You might even want to rerun it again because you want to make sure that it does cut all the way through. All right, let's cut those out. For all of your cardstock, when you're taking it off the mat, flip the mat over and then use a scraper to hold down your piece on your work surface while gently peeling the mat away from the paper. This helps it release much more easily and not bend or rip the pieces. I've already burnished along the score lines of the horn and the base, so now I will weed the HTV, align the horn on top of the horn base. It's pretty easy to get it centered just right, and then use your Easy Press Mini to press down on medium heat for about 5 seconds. You don't want to overpress or the glue can spill out the sides. I have also learned that you want to wait just a few moments for it to cool down before you attempt to peel off the HTV. If you see it starting to peel up, like I just did, press for a few more seconds. Wait again until it's cool, and try to peel the carrier sheet off again. Perfect. Now it's ready to go on our card. I've already burnished along the score lines of the card base and along the hat. So now I'll just glue on the front and back covers. Next, we'll glue the pink into the center of the ears. For these little pieces, it's always good to use a reverse tweezers and also the Barely Precision Art crafting glue with a really fine tip. Now, we'll glue the ears to the tip of the horn base. And you just want to put just a little bit of glue right on the edge there. You want the ears out so that there's more room for the holly crown. Now we'll glue on the holly. And I glued this first piece on, and then I realized, oh no, I should actually lay everything out first before I start gluing. That way you have an idea of how it's going to look when it's finished, and make sure you have enough room for all the pieces. And when you're happy with about what it's going to look like, then start gluing down. When you're gluing down the pieces, be sure that none of them hang over the edge of the tab. That tab is going to be folded back on the card, so you definitely don't want to have any of the pieces covering the tab at all. There, and we're done with the holly. Next, I'm going to put on the HTV berries. And you can see I just kind of cut them apart and then press down each one individually. Wait a few moments, let that cool, and pull it off. This one I'm only going to put the 2 berries on because the other one would be covered by the leaves. I snipped off part of the carrier sheet here to ensure that those berries weren't stuck on the carrier sheet instead of the cardstock. When you're using glitter HTV on cardstock, it's a good idea to stick it to your jeans or your arm first, just to get some of the stickiness away. With glitter HTV especially, the carrier sheet can stick really well to the cardstock and rip the cardstock. And our horn is done. Now we'll start assembling the card. Fold both tabs back. We want the center crease right in the center of the card and kind of check where you want it. So see now how when it folds up, the horn will be fully in the card, the ear doesn't stick out, so that's a pretty good position. So we'll put the glue just on the one tab, fold it down, push it right in the center of the card as you fold the card to make sure it is right in that center gap there. Hold it for a few seconds until the glue sets. Then put glue on the other tab and again hold it. Now you want to hold it about twice as long as you think it needs to be held, because often when you open the card for the first time, that will pull up if the glue is not fully dry. Then burnish along the score lines of the Santa hat, also Santa's fur trim for his hat. Then we'll glue the hat on using the same method, starting with just one tab. Glue that right tab down while folding it to ensure that it's right in the center. Put glue on the second tab. And for this one, you want to make sure that the horn folds in behind the hat, so guide it into place as you close it down. And again, wait a while to ensure that glue is dry before you open that card. Then glue on the hat trim. And also the hat ball. Finally, we're going to lay out the rest of the pieces before we glue them on. And I find it's really important to do this, otherwise your hair is going to be hanging out of the card, your eyelashes are going to be covered by the hair. Yeah, so just take the time to lay it out quick before you glue it down. And of course, with the small bits of hair and the eyelashes, it is important to use a glue with a precision tip. And we're all done. Isn't this adorable?